listen with your whole family.
Is this the morning show you were dreaming about? Go back to sleep.
I enjoy that type of radio.
It is a group of people brought together because they share a common belief in what government should be like.
We don't need your education. We don't need your thought control.
That's a talent.
He's wacky, he's zany, wacky and zany. It's another wacky and zany show.
Good morning, Armstrong County. I'm David Croyle. Welcome to David and Friends. Glad to have you with us today. I'm the David, you're the friend. It's 44 degrees on the outside if you're just joining us. Yeah, a little bit on the chilly side today, but it's okay. We'll take it. The big thing going down to about 38 degrees maybe tonight. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit on the chilly side as well. Well, were you ever in a marriage and it got chilly? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the cold shoulder. Yeah, okay, we're not going to go there, right? Yeah, because you all know it. You know, she gives you the evil eye. He gives you the look. You know, you don't go there. You just kind of like walk away from it. Yeah, well, there's many things, and we hear about the women all the time. You know, the women like this or like that, and this is what the man has to do if he's going to romance the woman. Yeah. But what about the man? What does he feel? What does he know? What's going on inside him? What's he, you know, and men don't want to talk about this. I could just hear half of you looking at your spouse and saying, yeah, okay, what's he doing talking about this today? Because you don't want me to talk about it, men, because that's the hidden part of your heart. That's the part where you protect yourself. You don't want that information to get out. Well, there's one man that exposed you. Yeah, he wrote a book called Hidden Feelings, and it deals with some of the issues that men face today. You know, giving that gal the second glance when you shouldn't have. Yeah, it exposes the thought process of some men, and it gives women just a peek into why men sometimes do what they do or what they're feeling and they're not telling you. So I just happen to have the author today. It's with me. Royce Dixon is on the line. Good morning, Royce.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you with us. Thank you for getting up a little earlier today to be a part of David and Friends. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
This book catching on like wildfire because some men looking at it and saying, wow, this is what we've been trying to say all along. Other men saying, we don't want to talk about that.
Right.
Really, really capturing some things. Tell me, this is fictional, right? This isn't like your life story or anything, right?
Right. It's fictional. But it does have real-life implications. Everything that have happened in the book, I've either heard about it or experienced it myself. So I just kind of added a little to the story to make it a fictional story. So not all of it's true.
Okay, so we don't want to compare this with the life of Roy Dixon necessarily.
Right.
But the point is you've taken life applications from what you've went through, and this isn't just something you made up. These are some things that you have experienced or you've watched other people experience, and you've put them into words to tell people, hey, this is what the guy's feeling. This is what's happening right now. You know, this word feeling, this is a difficult one because most men don't like to go there, do they?
No, not at all. It exposes our softer side, per se. It makes us feel kind of vulnerable. And it's just something that we're not taught to do from birth, from the time we're little.
Yeah. It's too difficult. You know, it's too difficult. Right. For some. Now, there's some men that are chatty and they just, you know, they gush all over the place, and that's, you know, so we're generalizing here, folks, this morning. We're not trying to get too specific. But for the most part, men are taught from the time they're small, the time they're babies, you know, buck it up, son, you know, it's just the way it is, you know, and don't show those. My father used to look at my mother, and we were laughing about that this weekend. They're both deceased, but both in heaven, thank God. But the fun part was that my dad would look at my mother and say, "Now, Phyllis, don't show yourself." Yeah, we laughed about that over the weekend because, you know, that meant, you know, don't get out there and do something stupid and say something stupid, you know. But that's the way men are, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And, you know, it's funny you said that because even with my own children, and I realized that with my children, how I differentiated between the two. If my son, they both play basketball and football. Well, my son played football. If he fell down, I would, tell them to get up, be a man, and brush it off and go on about your keep playing. When my daughter fell down playing basketball, I would go get her, pick her up, I would coddle her and tell Daddy what's wrong, and allow her to express herself.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I allowed her to express herself, but I taught my son to suppress his feelings because he's hurting too.
Yeah.
And here I am teaching a little kid, a little 5-year-old, telling him to be a man.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to be a man. He's a kid.
I'm not sure that all of us men know how to be men.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So, it's like I said, he's suppressing his feelings at an early age. He doesn't want to show how he's hurt. But he should be able to show how he's feeling or tell me how he's feeling. And I think that grows up, that stays with us all the time. Let's say we have our first breakup as a teen. Girl breaks our heart. Now we swear off women altogether. We don't want to have anything else to do with them because we're never going to feel that way again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all this time we're suppressing our feelings. We never get them out.
So okay,
and these are just some of the examples.
Yeah. So tell me about this. Now, whenever you're saying this, are you saying men need to we have to learn, or we have to just be like a woman, or are you saying there's some kind of middle ground here?
I think there's a middle ground there, and we just have to learn how to express ourselves in a positive way. And what I mean by that is, you can't holding everything in only hurts us. It creates a lot of stress. But if you can just say, even if you just write it down, maybe you don't have to share with anybody, but if you write it down, allow yourself to get it out. We have to find ways to get out our feelings, especially our frustrations, our anger, because those things that's the silent killer, that's stress.
Okay, let's talk.
There's a middle ground.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. That frustration and anger, because men are typified, stereotyped, that we go off the handle and we're very rough. And that, again, I'm generalizing because not all men do this.
Right.
But there are some that do. There are some that overplay the problem. I'm thinking of a person I know that, rubs their head all the time, and you would swear that their hemorrhoids were bothering them 24/7. I mean, it just, they just have that kind of aura about them that, that they're frustrated. What do you say in the book about this? How do you approach that in the book?
Well, the main character, Troy, is the one who has these hidden feelings. And there's a point in his book where, his mom dies and his girlfriend is asking him to, can she help? And he shuts her out completely, and it drives him away. So Troy finds solace in the church. He was able to talk to his pastor, and his pastor was the one that kind of helped him through it to see his own hidden feelings. And then he had to look in the mirror and realize that, there's things that he needs to fix within himself. So he found someone that he could confide in to express those feelings.
So you're saying then that basically we know women tend to get together, and again, generalizing, tend to get together in groups, and they kind of talk it all out. But you're saying a man, somebody has to be able to be there. The man has to be able to have the confident, the person that they can depend on, that it's not going to go anywhere else, because if you become vulnerable, the worst thing that could ever happen to a man is for that vulnerability to show somewhere and to be betrayed. And this happens, unfortunately, in marriages, in relationships, and it tears away at that fabric to where the level of non-trust is so high that it's very difficult sometimes to form the next relationship, because you have the terror of the vulnerability that you felt from the previous one. And so can you talk about that a little bit?
With us, once we're hurt as men, and like you said, we're generalizing. Once men get hurt, they tend to carry that with them everywhere they go and to everything that they do. So you have to find an outlet, and somewhere where you won't feel vulnerable, where you won't feel like it's going to be brought up against you later. Even within my own marriage, when I don't feel like, my problem was when I didn't feel like talking or dealing with the situation, I would shut down. I wouldn't talk at all. Now I've learned, if it's not a good time for me to talk right now, give her a date or time when we can talk. Or I have, a couple guy friends that I can go to, and I know that, whatever I tell them, it'll stay with them. So I don't have to worry about it coming back up to bite me later. I think every man needs some type of confidant, whether it's your pastor, it's your wife, your brother, your father, whoever. You need somebody in your life that you can talk to, and you can be open and honest with them.
Now, the problem comes, though, whenever we start having a confidant that's of the opposite sex and maybe gets in the middle of a marriage. Hey, we'll talk about that in just a moment. Royce Dixon on the line with me today. David and Friends, 19 past the hour of 9 o'clock.
Brett Brown is set to return as 76ers coach for the 2019-2020 season. Good morning. This is Sports from Radio PA. On Monday, managing partner Josh Harris told ESPN he met with Brown and general manager Elton Brand about the future. Of course, the Sixers season just ended and the team had its exit interviews yesterday. The buzzer-beating defeat still stings for Joel Embiid.
Game 7, losing the game that way, last shot after a hard-fought game. I feel like we had a chance.
Brown's record of 178 and 314 over 6 seasons doesn't look great, but the 76ers have won 52 and 51 games the past 2 regular seasons. However, this marks the second straight postseason that Philadelphia is knocked out in the conference semifinals. In baseball, the Phillies are expected to be without a high-profile reliever for at least another month. Off-season acquisition David Robertson won't throw for another 3 weeks to let his right elbow flexor heal. After signing a $23 million deal, Robertson has made just 7 appearances and last pitched on April 14th. Same injury, different city. The Pirates optioned starting pitcher Jamison Tyone to the 60-day IL with a strained flexor in his right elbow. Pittsburgh also put Jung-Ho Kang on the injured list with a strain on his left side. On the ice, an update from the IIHF World Hockey Championships in Slovakia. Penguins forward Patrick Hornquist has had a nice start for Team Sweden, leading the tournament with 5 goals. Likewise, Jakub Voracek of the Flyers has compiled 4 assists for the Czech Republic. New Philadelphia coach Alain Vigneault has led Team Canada to a 2-1 start. In the NFL, Philadelphia set to sign backup quarterback Cody Kessler. The veteran was cut by Jacksonville last week and has also played in Cleveland. In his career, Kessler's thrown 8 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 16 games. And that's sports. I'm Andrew Scaglione.
Let's check the weather with David Croyle right now on radio for your neighborhood. AM 1380 and FM 103.7. WTYM, Katanning, Ford City.
It's 44 degrees on the outside, a little bit on the chilly side today. Lee Hendricks at the National Weather Service in Pittsburgh, though, tells us, well, it'll get worse before it gets better, right, Lee?
Yeah, unfortunately, Dave, it looks like it's going to be a little bit wet here, at least through Wednesday night, with anywhere from a 40 to a 50% chance of rain through the period. The only nice thing is temperatures will gradually start warming through the week, and we'll be into the mid to upper 70s by Friday, and generally in the mid to upper 70s to even the lower 80s over the weekend, even though we have another batch of rain that's going to be moving in here Thursday night.
All right, in the Katanning paper today, they're talking about a lot of garage sales Friday and Saturday. Are they going to get rained out?
Well, on Friday, it looks like that's not going to be a real great chance. We've got about a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. And for Saturday, Saturday's actually going to be a pretty great day for it. Partly cloudy, high in the mid-70s. Next rain will be coming in Sunday in the afternoon. So we at least get that break for Saturday. So Saturday will be the best day to go.
All right, there you go. Saturday's it for all those garage sales, so make sure you're out and checking them out. Lee Hendricks, National Weather Service, thank you so much, Lee. It's 44 degrees right now in downtown Katanning, going up to a high rate, maybe around 57 degrees today.
If you gotta get up,
I gotta get up, I gotta get up.
do it with us.
And go, go, go!
David and Friends, weekdays on WTYM, Katanning.
Glad you're with us at 23 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock right now, and my guest is the author of Hidden Feelings. It's a fictional book, but he's used a lot of his own experiences and experiences of those who he knows, people he knows, that he's walked through different things with. And Mr. Royce Dixon is on the line with me, so we want to continue this conversation for a few minutes this morning. Royce, you know, what happens, though, in your book whenever you have the main dude here that is all of a sudden starts looking at others? How does that all play out?
Okay, well, he starts looking at others, and it plays a part of how he grows up. Because as a kid, you know, he loses his dad at an early age, his mom is working all the time. It's just him and his mom. He doesn't have any brothers and sisters. And so all these people play a different role in his life, and he sees how he grows up thinking like they think or doing the things that they do. So with him being at home by himself a lot, he's used to doing things a certain way. And now he brings somebody into his life, and she's the total opposite. Like he's Mr. Clean. She's kind of leaves stuff around the house, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. So he shuts down even with that, and talking to her about it. And so when his mom dies, she's the center of his world. So he just shuts down completely. And she's begging him, hey, Troy, let me help you. What can I do for you? Just let me know, and I'll do whatever. And so when he doesn't, she's like, well, I can't go on like this. So either you're going to tell me how I can help you, and we can work together, or I'm going to leave. Ultimately, he still remains quiet, and she leaves. So now he's hurting with his mom being gone. Now he's broke up with the love of his life, and now he's alone. So he has to come to some real life decisions and learn how to get through the hurt and the pain and deal with his feelings. And eventually he starts to seek help.
Right. This is so hard, and I'm sure that there's some today that are identifying with you. Is you're even telling these little excerpts out of the story of Hidden Feelings, which, by the way, you can get on Amazon and you can get just about anywhere. It's all over the place. It's just picking up like wildfire because it has a side of a man that you rarely see. The openness, the drama of it. Here in this story, whenever Royce is talking about a man bearing his feelings. Now, again, a woman often wants to talk about it. That's how they process. But men often will process on the inside because a woman can get from point A to point B, let's just say, almost instantaneously, it feels like at times, because they can just go right there. Now, they may not always understand how they got there, but they've already formulated the opinion. They've already know which way to go, so on and so forth. A guy has to take the steps in his mind and has to figure out the way to get there, not just getting there. And so many times that's hard, and so they process quietly, and then the woman feels like she's being ignored, she's being dissed because this person who should be sharing all this stuff isn't. Boy, I can just tell you that right now there's every aunt and uncle listening to me right now is looking there. Yep, Bob, we went through that, haven't we, Mildred?
Yeah.
So this Hidden Feelings thing, why did you write it?
Actually, I started writing another book about me and my wife. We got divorced in 2011 and remarried in 2013. And so during this time, I thought it would be good for me to write about the book for me to help with my own feelings during that time. Excuse me. And then, two, it was just something that I thought could help other people. And so out of writing that book, I discovered, I started thinking about my own hidden feelings and things that I went through. So I started writing both books at the same time. And the Hidden Feelings it just seemed like it was ready to be published first, because I'm still adding to the other book. So I went ahead and wrote Hidden Feelings and finished it up and got it published. And so now I'm thinking about releasing the other book sometime this year, maybe July, around that sometime. Depends on how Hidden Feelings is still doing.
Royce, I got to ask you this question. Basically, the second book is more of an autobiography, a little bit, then, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you've talked to your wife about this. How does she feel about kind of exposing this whole year of time, which most divorces aren't pleasant, even though you got back together, you got remarried, but still, I'm sure you're going to share things that are very intimate. How does she feel about that?
Yeah, at first she was against it, but after a while we talked about it, and now she realizes that everything that we went through was for a reason, and the reason was for us to help other people who may be in similar situations, but nobody ever talks about it. Nobody ever talks about their divorce and what the things that they went through. So in the second book, I'm really candid. I'm really transparent about the things that we went through, my feelings, the hard days that I had, the things that I went through to try to get over it, and nothing seemed to help. So now we realize that together we're more powerful as far as helping people get through this, because there's going to be some things that women can learn from these books as well.
I was just going to ask you that.
It's not just for men, yeah.
We have about 30 seconds. I just wanted to ask you about that too. So are these books basically not just for men, but they're also for women to help identify what their man's going through?
Yes, definitely. Because a lot of men won't tell their wives what they're going through or how they're feeling. So now maybe if the women read the book, they'll understand. Maybe I need to, be a little softer with them or gentler with them, or let them know that it's okay to be vulnerable with me. That I'm his partner, I'm his teammate.
All right, that's it, man. This moves so quickly today. I'm sorry. Hidden Feelings is the name. Royce Dixon is the man who did it. He wrote it. He published it. It's for your taking on Amazon.com. Royce, thanks for joining us today, David and Friends.
Thank you.
And thank you for being my friend, Royce. And thank you, each one of you. I tell you that every day, but I appreciate so much. Thank you for being my friend. Let's meet here again tomorrow. We have some other things to talk about. Just a little after 9. I'll be here with you. 1380 AM FM 103.7 WTYM. Y'all have a great day now.
This is Joe Pittman, candidate for state senator. My wife Gina and I are raising our 4 children here and understand both the challenges and opportunities facing all of us. During my service as Senator White's chief of staff, I have come to know many of you and am well aware of the issues important to Western Pennsylvania. I recognize the need to eliminate school property taxes, and that will be a top priority of mine as your next state senator. Again, this is Joe Pittman, and I ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st.
Paid for by friends of Joe Pittman.
After a long, hard winter, are you ready for some warmth?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Good, because spring is here. From WTYM, Katanning.